fans, for the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies!
Smokies fans, welcome back to another live pilot pregame show. We're broadcasting here from the Jig and Reel. The Boyd's Jig and Reel just steps away from Covenant Health Park. We always love coming here, and we've got a little special guest today. We're here with our executive chef, Aaron Gonnelly. Aaron, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit of a special segment. We typically started off with a little bit of a food review. I know this is Richie's favorite segment. You can see him just chomping at his bits right now. His mouth is watering from all the food that's in front of us. And we have our designated eater. Everybody welcome Phil to the stage. Look at that. He's got the whole spread in front of him. So, Aaron, how about you break down what we got in front of us right here?
Yeah, so tonight up in the ORNL clubhouse, guys, we've got our low country boil. So we've got some andouille sausage, baby potatoes, shrimp, some corn, all in an Old Bay beer butter broth. Super excited to have it. We're just going to take it, boil it off, and dump it right onto that table. You know, bring that festive 4th of July weekend into a Saturday here.
Gosh, I know. I knew I had to give you the description because I knew I couldn't have laid it out so perfectly like that. But all right, I think everybody's got to dig in. We're gonna have our all first bites together, and then we're gonna get a little bit of a review breakdown. I see Phil's already going all in.
Phil's plate's almost empty.
All right, I'm gonna move the microphone up. Richie, I'll let you come back with your first review.
Yeah, definitely has some spice to it. Is that the Old Bay seasoning I'm getting
It's a little
there?
Old Bay. The andouille sausage has a good amount of heat. My sous chef Jason and the team back there really, this is their wheelhouse. This is what they really wanted to come up with, and I just kind of let them run it.
It's going to be a whole ASMR show because I don't know if we're going to get any more words in. I'm just going to be chowing down on this the whole time.
You're definitely going to need some water with this.
Oh yeah, or cold beer.
Or cold
Plenty of that
beer.
at Covenant Health Park.
All right, Phil, do we have a rating over there as you're still digging in? 1 through 10. 9.3.
Okay.
That is a
All right.
We haven't had many
score.
9s or above for these food rankings
Listen,
so
the team
far.
will be happy to hear that. I'm sure they're going to be watching this, and they're all anticipating this score. So 9-3, guys. Way to go.
Let's go. Oh, we got some napkins.
Oh, Colin's got some napkins.
Thank you,
Colin,
Colin.
what would you give this 1 to 10? Because you got a bite of this.
1 to 10,
1 to 10.
all honesty, I give it an 8. And the only reason
8.
I'm giving it an 8, seasoning is fantastic. The only reason I'm giving it an 8 is because of the peel on the shrimp.
The peel
on the shrimp.
Okay.
Peel on
Okay.
the shrimp. All right.
Honest review there.
Yeah, he really
You know
broke
what?
it down.
Honesty is a great policy to have around here.
Yeah, you can't get any better if you don't know what's really going through your eaters' heads right now.
I'm going to go 8.6. Pretty high. Probably the highest score I've given anything.
I really liked the spice, and I'm glad you mentioned
too.
it before I took a bite because I really would have been shocked by that if I hadn't have known. I love the spice. I'm going to go, what was yours, Philip? You said 9.1? 9.3? Okay, then I'm going to go 9.1 because that's what I was thinking in my head. And, man, this is phenomenal. I'm not typically much of, the shrimp seafood. I typically stay away from that in my typical eating patterns, but this is great.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, this is a solid dish here for our club members. We're gonna have that crusty garlic bread going with it tonight. So
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think this is something that we could see down in the concourse level throughout the season, or is this going to be exclusively in the club?
right now I'd like to say let's keep it exclusive with the club, but I will like to. I don't want to root out any secrets here, but the sky's the limit here at Covenant Health Park. So if they dream it, they will come. So enough demand for it. We very well may have a special coming up here.
Cool.
Oh, man. So great to have you here, Aaron. So happy we finally got you on the live stream. Thank you for everyone who's watching on the Covenant Health Park scoreboard right now. And like we said, you can find this dish up in the club. And, man, you got to check it out. So many great views from up in that club, so many great eating opportunities. I mean, yeah, if you're ready to eat tonight here before game number 5, this is the dish for you. And what we were calling it, a low country boil?
Low country boil.
I love that name, too. It really excites me.
See, he's from California, so he's never had anything like this before.
No, not really.
See, there's a whole bunch of different varieties with this. You can add crawfish, clams, oysters, as much shellfish or as little as you want. Crab is always good. Lobster tails. Country clubs down in Florida, we always threw the lobsters and the higher end oysters in there.
All right, first year here at the Smokies.
Yep.
Talk about one of your favorite things to make.
Honestly, the whole thing of just opening this ballpark and being a part of the return to Knoxville, I think, has to be the greatest thing in town. Most people I like to joke and say I've got the coolest job in town, but I truly do mean that. I have something that nobody else in town has. I was able to open up a brand new ballpark with my team and come up with a lot of dishes that Knoxville is used to, but in a different way that our patrons can really enjoy at an affordable price. That was the other thing. We're not over the park expensive when it comes to food and beverage.
So out in right field in the Modelo watering hole area, we're going to open up a new area. And I got a little first taste of that. First customer, by the way, out there in the shipping container. But it's a different menu, some shrimp tacos, some wings. Talk about what fans are going to see out there in right field.
Yeah, so Modelo and Waterhole actually opened yesterday, our grand opening. So you're going to see more of that pub-style food, some sliders, some shrimp tacos, fish and chips, something that is a little different. We'd like to have it, separated from our typical barbecue, our cantina, and our concessions. So we're really excited to have it. It's that spot down there where people want to hang out. They've got cornhole down there. They've got the bar down there. They've got full-service alcohol and beer. And then to add that container to it really is a nice addition to that whole right field area.
It's kind of one of my favorite spots. I've been itching to get to a game as a fan and just kind of hang out in the Modelo watering hole, try more of the food. Because, one of the things, I've been to a lot of stadiums, and I feel like the selection is always pretty similar, especially at the minor league ballparks. You don't see too many stadiums going above and beyond, and I think that's something that you guys really capture with, the different options everywhere you go.
Yeah, and I think what separates us from a lot of, like you said, the other minor league parks is we're smoking our own pork, right at the stadium. We're smoking our own brisket right there on the stadium. And we have a team behind us that just want to give 110% every day. They want to give their all. They want to be part of something great just like we all do. And, being part of that return to 25, return to Knoxville season is really something that they strive for perfection on.
Yeah, it seems like we've really encaptured that perfection with so many options. I mean, everybody, we'll have to go around and get some fan opinions, what the fans' favorite things are. I know my girlfriend, Emmy, loves the Barley's stop. I know that's not something that you guys are creating, but that's just another fun little feature that's tucked away into the stadium. And, man, I remember you mentioned the brisket. Haven't tried that yet, but I've been itching to. I think that's what we were smelling this morning, or maybe it was this. I'm not sure.
We had the brisket going this morning.
Yeah.
We do the pork overnight every day. After game time, we'll get into the smoker before we take off, and we'll cook that overnight. And like I said, the guys have really, they've built the systems. I give them all the credit. I can't take all this credit. They do all the work. I give them the direction and the guidance that they need, and you really see a lot of really great, excellent things here.
So how late are they here at
These
night?
guys are here all day, every day. They
Wow.
really are. They usually want to be the first ones here, and they want to be the last ones to leave. But I think that's the part of building a team, anywhere, especially, a superstar team like we have in Knoxville, is you have to surround yourself with people that want to be here. And, you guys see that in your day-to-day operations. I know our team sees that, and I know our food and beverage team does the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's incredible. Aaron, I'm so happy that you came on with us here live at the Boyd's Jig and Reel. We got our low country boil. Everybody's giving it very high scores. So if you're up in the club tonight, make sure you're checking this out. It's a must-have, and we don't know when it's going to be coming back.
No, we don't. I try to keep the menus a little different, keep them exciting instead of doing the same old, same old. So, this may or may not be the only time this gets brought out this season. I guess our fans are going to have to wait and see.
All right. Well, super fun. Aaron, thanks for coming on. I think we'll now start to pivot into our game preview here before game number 5. But, now that my hungerness has been quenched, I'm glad. Now I can actually focus on the rest of this show. We're ready. We're fueled up. Richie, how are you feeling after the meal?
I feel amazing. I'm a big shrimp guy, so That definitely knocked my socks off there with the what was the seasoning? Old Bay.
Old Bay. There's a little Cajun seasoning in
Yeah.
there, some beer in there, some butter.
Yeah, the whole thing. No, I definitely love this meal. Something I might put on the event menu going forward. What do you think about that?
Listen, Richie, you're the guy that sells events. You sell the event. If the price is right, we'll have it.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. So with that, folks, we'll go ahead and get into more of our preview here that we've got today. And, man, it's been a great series so far. It's a split series. We were out in Rocket City, and now we're back home in Knoxville. So, Richie, why don't you break down a little bit of what happened back in game number 1 if the fans weren't tuning in?
Yeah, split series. So in Rocket City, the Smokies opened up the series a 3-1 win, and the bullpen was fantastic. They were taking advantage of Rocket City, who lost 15 games in a row coming into the game. So they lost 16 in a row after Tuesday night. And in the top of the 6th inning, you see the RBI double there by Jalen Palmer, and then he took the lead. Corey Joyce followed it up with an RBI single after him. And the Smokies bullpen was lights out. Tyler Santana, Brad Depperman, A.J. Puckett, all those guys combined for 4 scoreless innings to lock down the win. And I think the highlight of Tuesday night was getting Puckett back as your closer. It was the first time that he had a save since early June. So to have your closer back out there was key in Tuesday night's win.
Yeah, huge to have him back. And then games 2 and 3 didn't exactly go the Smokies' way. A couple of wins. Rocket City finally got back in that win column after a club record losing streak. But Game 4 went a little bit better. Philip, you're back here up with us. Why don't you give us a little bit of the rundown on game number 4?
Yeah, the Smokies had some fireworks of their own. They had a lot of offense coming into the game, scored a lot of runs early, kept the lead the entire time. But really the highlight of that game was Tyler Schlafer really impressed in his debut. As you see there, 6 innings, just the 1 run. He was really, really something special and really needed by the Smokies with that pitching performance.
Yeah, he just came off a June Pitcher of the Month while he was up with High A South Bend, and now he's here with Knoxville making his Double-A debut in those beautiful 4th of July uniforms, and we got to ask him a few questions afterwards, all of the roller coasters of emotions coming into this start, and he executed the game plan. So it was great to see him. He's throwing that mid-90s fastball with a bunch of sink. I was able to catch a few pitches from behind the plate. It's filthy. So really excited to see what he's going to be able to bring to this rotation for the rest of the season. And with that, we'll go ahead and get into our standings check as we enter game number 5. So there we go. Knoxville's still up at the first place spot. Richie, what's your observation when you're looking at these standings?
Yeah, Chattanooga's been key this week. They have beat Birmingham 3 out of the 4 games thus far, so that's keeping the Smokies in first place. Just a 5-5 record in the second half. And then in the South, you got Montgomery, who's 7-3, Pensacola 6-3. Biloxi already clinched their playoff berth at 6-4, and then Columbus at 5-5. So the standings right now, it's anybody's game in the second half. It's very close in both the North and the South.
Yeah, Knoxville just trying to hold on to that first place position here as we enter the weekend. We only got 2 games left in this series. Smokies are tied in the series right now, so trying to pull that out. And so with that, we'll go ahead and get into our starting pitchers for today's matchup. And let's go ahead and start with the other team. It's going to be George Clausen, the number 3 overall prospect in the Los Angeles Angels organization. And he hasn't been exactly living up to that prospect hype so far. Richie, what's the report on him?
Yeah, hard-throwing right-hander. His fastball is going to be up at 97 miles an hour, and the Smokies have had some trouble hitting the harder right-handers this year. But, like you said, his numbers have struggled because he doesn't command the zone very well, so he gets in a lot of trouble with guys on base. Also has a hard 86-mile-per-hour curveball and a slider up to 90. So everything you're going to see is hard velocity. But the Smokies, the first time they faced him back in April, scored 5 runs off of him. Most recently in May, 5 innings, 1 hit, and only 1 run with 5 strikeouts for Clausen against Knoxville. So it's kind of been up and down for him this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Smokies can attack him. Obviously, he's had some success against us in the future. And on the other side of things, it's going to be a bullpen game for the Smokies. So with that, Phil, who's going to be starting off this bullpen game?
Yeah, the Smokies are going with Chris Clark. He's only had a couple of games so far for the Smokies, but he's been lights out. He's allowed just 1 hit so far, 2 strikeouts over 4 innings, 2 appearances. 6'7", out of Westlake Village, California, attended USC. The big guy's going to go look to get it started for the Smokies today.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's been phenomenal. Still rocking that 0 ERA coming into this one, and he's been a 2-inning guy in his first couple of appearances with the Smokies. So we'll see how long he can go in this one and how he's going to be able to hand it over to the bullpen because they're a little bit, stressed on longer-term guys right now. So we'll see how that is going to impact this game. But hopefully the lineup can get things going and not have to put so much pressure on each one of these relievers as they come out of the bullpen. And that'll perfectly segue us into the lineup. We got to go ahead and cover our featured batters. Starting it off, of course, we've got our Mint Gaming leadoff batter of the game. Parker Chavers is going to be up there in that leadoff spot tonight. Phil, what do you got on Park?
Yeah, he's leading off, 5th time in the leadoff spot this year. He's only 1 for 15 with 3 walks leading off this year. But last season he only led off once. 15 games in the leadoff spot in 2023, batted .217, so not a whole lot of experience. But the talking point here is that when he bats in the 2-hole, he's batting .270 with the bases empty. So look to really get it going, especially that first batter of the game. Really try to get the energy going in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and look at our next featured batter, our Exterior Home Solutions cleanup batter of the game. Richie, who do we got down in that 4-hole?
Yeah, it's B.J. Murray Jr. again, the most exciting guy that's been on the Smokies roster at home this year. Leads the league in RBIs with 51. So the guy you want to drive in runners is in the cleanup spot again tonight. Last night had that 2 RBI double late in the ball game that really put things away and was the reason the Smokies won last night's game against Rocket City. So if you want one guy in the starting lineup to be your cleanup hitter, it's B.J. Murray.
Yeah, it's a little fun back and forth. Him and Pedro have got going on, and then RBI leaderboard. So we'll see how many of those RBIs these guys can rack up today and who's going to sit at the top of that leaderboard when we're done with Game 5. And then, of course, we'll transition it over into our favorite featured batter, our Wendy's double stack batter of the game. And Richie, I'm going to throw it right back to you. Who's in that spot tonight?
Yeah, the newcomer, Andy Garriola, has only played 3 starts in Double-A since being called up on July 1st, but was one of the best hitters down in High A this year with South Bend. Led the Cubs in RBIs during the first half, hit 21 home runs in 107 games during 2024. So a guy that's got some pop and could drive it into the gaps. And last night we didn't get a Wendy's double stack, so hopefully tonight we'll get a free burger.
Yeah, I'm hopeful because Garriola, he's ready to, debut in front of this home crowd. He hasn't played at Covenant Health Park yet, no opportunities. So excited to see how he's able to perform when the lights are shining the brightest. And with that, we'll go ahead and get into our final segment, our players to watch. So we've each picked out a guy that we're really going to keep our eye on heavily here. So, Phil, I'll throw it to you first. Who's your guy to watch?
Yeah, I'm looking at Ethan Hearn in the 8-hole today. He's been struggling as of late, batted 128 over the last 10 games, but I think that just means he's due. Saw him getting some work earlier today, really working on that swing. So I think he'll look to really try to right the ship today and get something going at the bottom of the order for the Smokies.
I like that. Trying to, like you said, he's due, all right? I always love using that term when a guy hasn't been performing at the level he expects himself for a long time. And then, hey, there's going to be one breakout game where the ship gets right, like you said. So, Richie, who are you keeping your eye on today?
I'm going to go with Jalen Palmer, who's been everyday right fielder now for the Smokies, now that Bateman's out. So he's been solid in the series, has 3 hits and 7 at-bats with a double and an RBI, a couple of walks. You see the power that he had here in that series against Birmingham the last time around. So when I look at Jalen Palmer, a guy that needs to step up in the lineup because he's going to hit at the bottom of the order. And the Smokies have had trouble this year in the bottom of the order. They need some balance, and I think that Palmer's the guy to bring it.
Yep, and the guy that I'm going to be keeping my eye on is Pablo Aliendo. He did not get to play yesterday on the 4th of July, so I'm expecting him to bring some Saturday fireworks. Of course, we've got some after the game, but Pablo's a guy who can impact this game with one swing of the bat. He wears number 1. I love it. I feel like that's just like a center of attention number, when you're wearing number 1. Typically, that's your guy. And tonight, he's my guy. So Pablo, looking for some big things from you today. He's going to be right there in the middle of the lineup for Lance Reimel. So hopefully he can make an impact in this one, and that offense can stay rolling as they were able to put up plenty of runs yesterday. So with that, folks, that's going to cap off our live pilot pregame show here from Boyd's Jig and Reel. We always love coming to the Boyd's Jig and Reel, so close to the stadium. One of the best places to go ahead and consume some Smokies baseball. If you're ever hanging out, they've got the bar section, live music going on all the time, and some of the best food here in Old City. So make sure you're checking out Boyd's Jig and Reel. And with that, folks, I'll throw it back to my co-hosts, Phil and Richie. Do you any final words for all the fans watching on the Covenant Health Park scoreboard?
Yeah, excited for tonight, and those after the game, be sure to stop by. They're going to have some live music starting at 9 here at the Boyd's Jig and Reel, so a great spot, a great bourbon selection over there at the bar, and, I think just the perfect spot to end your night after a baseball game.
All right. Phil, any last words for all the fans?
Just excited to see some fireworks tonight, both offensively and after the game. Getting excited for the end of the series here.
Yep. So fans, stick around. Fireworks show after the game. And for myself, Connor Nelson, Richie Giuliano, Philip Stalzer, we're signing out for the Smokies Baseball Network. We'll have more Smokies live pregame shows coming up next week. Make sure to stay tuned on social media at Smokies Baseball to see where we'll be next week and where you could have a chance to win tickets to your very next Smokies game. So with that, folks, go ahead and lock in for this 7 o'clock first pitch start. We will catch you later, and let's go Smokies.
Fans, for the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies! Woo!